Hi, I'm Bugsy and I'm a recovering addict. I'm going to be reading just for today, December 2nd, 2024, Recovery, Our First Priority. Page 352, basic text, page 82. We have to keep our recovery first and our priorities in order. Before coming to NA, we used many excuses to justify our use of drugs. He yelled at me. She said this. My partner left. I got fired. We used these same excuses for not seeking help for our drug problem. We had to realize that these things kept happening because we kept using drugs. Only when we made our recovery our first priority did these situations begin to change. We may be subject to the same tendency today, using excuses for not attending meetings and being of service. Our current excuses may be of a different nature. I can't leave my kids. My vacation wore me out. I have to finish this project so I can impress my boss. But still, if we don't make recovery our first priority, chances are that we won't have to worry about these excuses anymore. Kids, vacations, and jobs probably won't be in our lives if we relapse. Our recovery must come first. Job or no job, relationship or no relationship. We have to attend meetings, work the steps, call our sponsor, and be of service to God and others. These simple actions are what makes it possible for us to have vacations, families, and bosses to worry about. Recovery is the foundation of our lives, making everything else possible. Just for today, I will keep my priorities in order. Number 1 on the list is my recovery. Let me start off with, I agree with the literature and the message it's trying to send, but I don't agree with the way it was approached. To me, it felt kind of fear-mongering and using definitive and permanent wordage where you have to go to meetings. You have to call your sponsor. You have to talk to God. You have to do the steps. Otherwise, you're not putting your recovery first. And I don't agree with that sentiment because life does get in the way. When you're first starting out in sobriety and recovery, sure, getting to a meeting, maybe having a sponsor, working the steps, or at least looking them over, can help you stay on the right path. But once you start getting the hang of life, the whole goal to be in recovery is to enjoy life. And sometimes life gets in the way. Sometimes your schedule is so hectic that going to a meeting is just not possible. And I know you might say, oh, there's some Zoom meetings, but again, some people's lives are so jam-packed with living that they can't even go on an hour Zoom meeting. Some people don't believe in God or any religion. So to say that you have to talk to God in order for you to be in recovery or to put recovery first, that kind of deters some people to think, well, you know what? Like, I don't believe in that. And how dare you tell me that my recovery is not valid because I don't believe in what you're saying I should believe in. And the steps, some people don't feel the steps work for them. What they are doing is working for them, so they're continuing to do that. And some people don't have a sponsor. Some people aren't comfortable with that. All of these things that the literature stated today, I don't feel negates the fact that you're in recovery because I don't do X, Y, and Z. Therefore, my recovery doesn't exist and it's not valid and it's not happening. To me, the point of getting in recovery and living sober, like I said, is to live. It's to have families. It's to have jobs. It's to have the ability to enjoy the things that recovery offers. And yeah, sure, relapses happen. But part of being in recovery is recognizing those moments that you feel like you might relapse. Recognizing that today I'm a little bit weaker, I'm a little bit unsteady, and I need to reach out to somebody. That's when you decide, okay, my recovery needs to come first before anything right now because I am on the edge of falling backwards. Does that make sense? Recovery is the reason why we can have all of these things and have the ability to go to work and have the ability to wake up with our children every morning and have friends and have relationships and have these things that we've worked so hard for. Recovery is that reason. And because we made it a priority to be sober and living in recovery, that's why we get this gift of life. I don't think that recovery necessarily has to be the number one thought of your mind every single day. Because though it is extremely important to live in recovery, I think that if you focus 100%, and there's even a literature passage where it says don't focus 100% on your recovery because then you're going to miss out on life. So it's kind of contradicting, where it's like don't focus too much on life in this literature. You need to put your recovery first. And then the other literature says don't always think about your recovery, put your family and life first. It's kind of contradicting. So in this literature, I do agree that your recovery should be extremely important. Do I think that it needs to be on your brain 100% of the time? No. I think that recovery needs to be brought to the number one spot of your priorities when you're starting to struggle. Maybe even putting time aside, a little bit of time aside to do something. Maybe you're driving home, you can reflect about your day. And that can be part of your recovery priority. But I don't want you to feel discouraged because you don't have a sponsor. I don't want you to feel discouraged because you don't go to meetings. I don't want you to feel discouraged because I don't believe in a religion. What am I supposed to do? I don't want you to feel left out or invalidated because you don't believe the things that typically are supposed to, we have to believe in. That's not what recovery is for, in my opinion. I could be completely wrong in your guys' eyes, but in my opinion, recovery is for living. We live a life that we never thought we would be able to. We are seeing the sunshine and the butterflies when we never saw anything but darkness before. We're seeing things in life that we have never been able to see or experience before. And one thing I do say about this literature today, about making excuses, I hear that all the time. I can't get clean because I'm sick. It makes me feel better. I can't get clean because so-and-so hurt me so bad and I need something to numb me. I can't get clean because you can't get clean because you don't want to. So that's one thing I'll say about this literature, that I 100% agree to that. We had a million excuses as to why we were using. And now that we've reached recovery, we have a million excuses to not go back. A million reasons, I should say, not excuses. We have a million reasons to not go back. We got out of the fire. That's why the phoenix represents Narcotics Anonymous, is that we were reborn of the flames, from the flames. And there is so many times where I even reflect back and I think, dang, I could have done this a long time ago. Why didn't I? Because they hurt my feelings. Because I felt sick. Because I need to. Because that's why I couldn't do it before. But once I put the excuses aside and said, you know what? I do have a problem, and there's no excuse for me to continue to feed into this problem. Then I started to see the reasons why I didn't need to get high anymore. The reasons why recovery is the place to be. Because I don't want to go back to excuses my whole life. My whole life is an excuse and nobody expects anything from me. But now, my life has a reason. And people are looking up to me. And I wouldn't trade that. But anyway, long story short, don't think that you have to do the specific things that are required to be in recovery, because they're not required. In my eyes, they're not required. But they are there and available to you as tools and resources to keep you on the straight and narrow, keep you moving forward in your recovery, and to help you as a safety net in case you fall down. And stop with the excuses. Think of the reasons. And I hope everyone's doing well out there, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.